we see in this diagram that how thermohaline current move from the Atlantic Ocean passing through the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean, making a zigzag pattern. You see how it is getting moved, and the arrow shows the movement, and this is the counter current moves along with the polar area. Then this current is taking a revolution, making an arc in Pacific Ocean, comes down to Indian Ocean and goes to the Atlantic Ocean, making again a fall down to a Pacific Ocean. You see how this current is moving inside the oceans. Now, cold bottom water returns to the surface through mixing and wind driven upwelling, leading to continuous and conveyor belts which carry all the nutrients, water bodies and various kind of biodiversity sources from one part of the earth to the other part, and the surface water pulled into the ocean and lead to the sinking water. With deep water, there is horizontal until we can find a region to globe where there is lack of rise of the surface. Now the next part is the tipping point. What are tipping points? So these are the threshold where tiny changes could push the system and completely new state is formed. So there are 9 tipping point change in the climate could push the tipping point to the reversible change. Very important for UPSC prelims 2022. तो हम देखते हैं what are the climate tipping points on the earth. So there is first tipping point in the Brazil Amazon forest, that is first tipping point, and which leads to creation of a Amazon rainforest with frequent droughts. तो Amazon rainforest को drought से बचाने के लिए जो frequency है, that is again a part of a tipping point. ये 9 tipping points बहुत ही important हैं, that are a part of global climate change, and they manage and mitigate the situation and condition of the oceans. Second part is the Arctic sea ice. With massive losses, it protects the ice sheath over the Arctic area. So that is second point. Third point you see in the diagram is in the presence of Atlantic circulation. So Atlantic circulation in the middle of Atlantic, you see that there is third tipping point which is slower since 1550s. Then fourth tipping point goes in the area of American basin. So American plateau के बीच में fourth tipping point है, that is again a part of boreal forest. वैसे वन जिनमें boreal forest होते हैं, that is a part of fourth tipping point. Fifth is the coral reef mass die offers. Fifth tipping point जहाँ पे coral reefs आपको दिख रहे हैं. Where is the coral reef? It is Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Now sixth tipping point goes for Greenland ice sheath. Where is Greenland ice sheath? In the northern hemisphere. So that is a sixth tipping point. And seventh tipping point is permafrost melting. सातवें नंबर पे क्या है? Permafrost melting. कहाँ पे permafrost है? You see that there is a permafrost condition in the northern pole and southern pole. So there is seventh point here in the Russia-Alaska region. Then eighth is West Antarctic ice sheet. Antarctic में भी constant ice sheet बनी हुई है, that is a 8 point. 9 point goes for the again Atlantic Ocean, and it is Wilkes Basin in the Eastern Atlantic loss region, which is a part of a Atlantic circulation in the Wilkes Basin. So these are 9 important tipping points. Remember for your prelims, mains as well as interview and your life cover that if any change in climate leads to change in the tipping point, then overall the oceanic balance and the earth balance will be disturbed. Now next point is goes for the Begging and Begging Act by Government of India. So begging is prohibited by various laws and making it illegal. So there are various kind of arguments whether begging should be made legal or illegal. तो begging को illegal बनाने के लिए बहुत सारे कानून बनाए गए हैं, in which we see that when there are beggars then they are not working anywhere and they just sit on the road asking for the alms, और वे कहीं भी बैठ के भीख मांगने लगते हैं. That condition again goes very pathetic for the country and for the people who are going for the job, who are going to the temple, who are going to any tourist places, because they consistently follow people. Somehow there is a act of theft or robbery to the foreign tourist. तो begging को इसलिए illegal बनाया जा रहा है. Now as per the 7th schedule of Constitution of India, the state list protects the disabled and unemployed people. So बहुत सारे विकलांग लोग, दिव्यांग जन वो begging में लग जाते हैं, and the state responsible for taking necessary prevention and rehabilitation steps. Second law carries the detention of 3 to 10 years of beggars home. 3 से 10 साल की सजा दी गई है अगर कोई भीख मांगते पकड़ा जा रहा है, and adopted in the 20 states. And activities gauge that there are oppressive laws and arrest anyone who is poor. So again that goes against the humanity. ह्यूमन राइट वाले इशू आ जाते हैं कि कोई भी गरीब व्यक्ति अगर किसी की मदद मांग रहा है और उसे नहीं मिल रही है तब वो भीख मांगने को मजबूर होता है. देन द बेगरी इज अगेंस्ट constituted under the laws of Government of India as a penal offence under federal law. Now next point is the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of 2015. It was Bombay Prevention Begging Act 1959. Then Juvenile Justice Act provides the beggary as treated victims under needed care and protection on deal with the child welfare committees and state laws in terms of criminals who can sent on the institutions. So what are the steps taken by government to reduce and curtail the issues of beggary? That there is a SMILE project in which there are beggars who are provided care and justice and empowerment for livelihood conditions. Then there is inclusion of central sector scheme for comprehensive rehabilitation of the beggars, and there is welfare measures for the beggars in order to have various kind of measures for their livelihood. So in order to focus them to provide education, skill development, economic help and basic help for food and logistics is also provided. Then there is community based organization, institutions which are providing for the existing shelter homes available. उनके लिए shelter home provide करना, beggars को शिक्षा देना, उन्हें upskill करना so that they can stand on their feet and work for themselves. That is again a part of this project. Further, it aims for taking scheme for the use of existing shelter homes to rehabilitate the beggars who are going to stay there. तो उनके लिए shelter homes बनाए गए हैं. Further, there is skill development program by Ministry of Skill and Justice, in which there are Backward Class Finance and Development Corporation, NBFCDC for skill development program, Integrated Child Protection Scheme ICPS in order to protect children to indulge into the begging activities and provide children good care, food and rehabilitation measures. Next part is elderly care in India. Again that is a part of vulnerable section, paper 2, social justice. So why in the news? It comes into news as the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has brought elderly care in terms of 5th series of the publication, which was started in 2001, and it leads to the care and protection of old age people. So Vayoshri Samman Yojana, Vridha Pension Yojana, old age pension schemes are again all the part of this elderly care and protection measures. Here we see that we have a graph that shows that how elderly population is working on a rise, that in 1961 5.6% of elderly, and in 1971 again 6% of old age population rise to 10.7% to 14% of elderly population, in which female are highest number. So old age people के साथ बहुत सारी समस्याएं हो जाती हैं. There is Alzheimer, there is problem of appetite, there is lack of memory, then there is lack of motor neurons, and various kind of diseases are for the old age people. So again this goes for a part of concern of the government in a welfare state under DPSV. डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स के पार्ट हैं ये, कि किसी भी वृद्धावस्था के व्यक्ति को सुविधाएं देना, उनके रोग को बचाने के लिए और उनके लाइफ को सुटेबल फॉर्म में लाने के लिए गवर्नमेंट मेजर्स लेती हैं. Now what are the issues and challenges? So it takes that there is a reduction in the data system, insufficient data is projected. So insufficiency in data, it again leads to NSS 75th round in education in India. Only 5.3% of males of 60 years and above can operate to computer, 5.8% of people can use the internet. So then again a problem of illiteracy, अशिक्षा से ये सारी समस्याएं आ रही हैं. Only 1.7% and 1.9% of females can operate computers. Then inadequate quality health care for industry. Longitudinal aging study for India, LASI 2020 report, 75% of industry population suffers from arthritis disease, hypertension, cataract, diabetes, heart diseases, and 40% has disability and 20% suffer from mental health challenges. So India's public health care system is usable in providing care and support to the elderly people who are suffering from such diseases, and there is a rehabilitative care in essential for the elderly people. Further, there is a national program for health care of the elderly, that is NPSCE, which provide elderly care, their checkup, their prevention, and all kind of medicines on the time by various kind of healthcare institutions as well as hospitals as well. Further, we see that there was Ayushman Bharat Yojana and Jan Arogya Yojana. So Ayushman Bharat में भी and Jan Arogya Yojana, that all concern for the elderly care and protect them from being disease prone. Next part is food insecurity. So insecurity of food tenure goes for 45 years of period in which they are having malnutrition, they are not having adequate food and for their good health condition. So they being hungry and stayed hungry people. Then there is a family structure that again creates a problem for those people. We change the family structure from extended family setup and leads to the rise of grandparents in the nuclear family. So दादा दादी जब परिवार में होते हैं तो बहुत सारे बच्चे उनसे भागते रहते हैं. The working people who are already engaged in going office, they don't want to talk to them because they have huge issues, they have body problems, they have medicines, lack of medicine, nutrition, they forget many things. So बुजुर्गों के साथ बहुत सारी समस्याएं हो जाती हैं. Now inadequate government measures such as Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act, which aims for the maintenance of old age people. Old age homes is there and privately owned institutions are there. Further, schemes and programs for the welfare of industry purpose. That national policy on the older person in 1999. Policy emphasizes state support to ensure financial, food security, health care protection, shelter, household care, and protection from abuse and exploitation, availability of service. And further, the senior citizen under finalizes maintain the problem with their welfare of parents and old age people of the society. Then last is the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act of 2007. Remember these two act whenever you are writing your answer, that is Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007, then National Policy on Older Person 1999, and Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act of 2007. So state actions for the senior citizen goes from SAPSRC, then National Awards for Senior Citizen, Vayoshreshth Samman Yojana, and Senior Citizen Welfare Scheme is there. Then Rashtriya Vayoshri Yojana, in order to provide the old age people a proper pension and health scheme. So aid assisted living devices for senior citizen. So जो भी senior citizen wheel chairs पे रह रहे हैं, बेड रिडन हैं, उनके लिए ऐसे डिवाइसेस प्रोवाइड किया जाना, that are part of this scheme. Then senior citizen welfare fund is there. In order to develop the senior citizen, there is separate fund created by Government of India under National Policy on Older Persons. Further, National Council of Senior Citizen is there, and it constituted under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment to oversee implementation of policy and advises the government formulation and implementation of policies, programs for the aged people. Further, national programs for health care and elderly people, NPSC is there. Now, there is a Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana PMJ, which is launched by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which again looks for the development of elderly people, protection of their life, providing certain medicines that are crucial for their health development. Then again Pradhan Mantri Matri Vaya Vandan Yojana, again for protecting old age women who are working in their family, who are facing problem of malnutrition, care and shelter issues that are handled, and launched in 2017, extended up to 2023. So way ahead is a data driven policy. So what it says that there should be a collection of data, and that data on the old age and women people, and there is implementation of population aging. So government can look and scrutinize the processes and data that are taken and collected. Then there is digital empowerment of elderly. Government has various levels for digital empowerment, modernizing the elderly by giving digital education, handling the issues of the elderly people by providing the education and internet connectivity to the elderly people who are suffering with various issues and old age challenges and medical care. Further, removing the situation of poverty in the old age people, remote areas and village areas. Also enhancing the pension program. So we provide rupees 45 to 83 per day as a pension to 1500 and 2500 monthly basis to at least 50% on the minimum wage basis to the old age people. Next part is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana PMUY. Now under Ujjwala Yojana we are having free LPG gas collection. So LPG gas connection को ग्रामीण लेवल तक ले जाने के लिए and to provide dignity and women health care, again matter of paper to social justice. So it aims for making simplified, less paperwork situation, and migrants can also have the LPG connection based on their ration card and Aadhaar card as an address proof, and further they can have the belonging proof of her household with eligible Ujjwala Yojana, which makes socio-economic caste consensus 2011 listed. Next part is the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana and its beneficiaries to a larger level. So largest direct intervention for women and the rural urban household. We see that rural urban household is taken in the Ujjwala Yojana. Second part is 5 crores of women directly benefited along with rupees 8,000 crore of LPG connection, free LPG connection to below poverty line communities in India who are suffering from poverty and they are having no money to get the LPG. They are provided free LPG connection. Then next part is providing clean fuel for the women. Women are having a clean fuel, that is again part of LPG connection, unless they were using chulha and lakdi based and cow dung based cooking utensils. So now they are transformed from chulha based system to LPG gas stoves. Again a clean fuel and protecting them from cancer kind of diseases. Next is directly addressing the health hazard due to cow dung and smoke, that is a cancer, tuberculosis and acute respiratory diseases. तो रेस्पिरेटरी डिजीज से भी प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए उज्ज्वला योजना इफेक्टिव है. नाउ नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज फ्री वूमिंग ड्रेजरी कलेक्टिंग फ्रॉम फायरवुड्स. तो वुमेन्स दैट आर यूजिंग द फायरवुड्स दैट आर अगेन प्रोटेक्टेड थ्रू द उज्ज्वला योजना एलपीजी कनेक्शन. Next part is smoke free household and better hygiene for the children. So जब भी घर में धुआं होता था और हाउस होल्ड में प्रॉब्लम फेस करते थे बच्चे स्मोकिंग के चलते, दैट प्रॉब्लम इज अगेन एड्रेस्ड बाय द उज्ज्वला एलपीजी गैस कनेक्शन दैट इज प्रोवाइडेड टू द हाउस होल्ड कनेक्शन. Remember this fact for your prelims as well as mains point of view. Now, how far is the performance of this scheme as audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India CAG report, which comes in 2019, shows that there is a leakage in the BPL household connection. So there are loopholes and corruption practices in the household which are contained through SECC data. SECC data 12.5 lakh cases are there. जब सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कास्ट कंसेंसस की बात करते हैं फ्रेंड्स, देन डेटा शोज दैट हाउ फार इज द हाउस होल्ड इज कंटेनिंग टू द इश्यूज ऑफ उज्ज्वला विच आर बीइंग ट्रांसमिटेड टू द डिफरेंट हाउस होल्ड विच आर पॉवर्टी रिडन एंड सोशली एंड इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड कास्टेस. सो अगेन रिमेंबर दिस डेटा फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स दैट नोट्स 1.9 lakhs cases where the connection were released to the men. महिलाओं के बजाय पुरुषों को ये कनेक्शन मिल जा रहे हैं. एंड लैक ऑफ सस्टेन यूज ऑफ एलपीजी, एलपीजी के यूज को अच्छी तरह नहीं कर पा रही है महिलाएं. एंड दैट रिमेन लो पुअर कंजम्पशन दैन इन द सिटीज एरिया. फर्दर देयर इज अ डिलेड इंस्टॉलेशन. द इंस्टॉलेशन दैट इज डन थ्रू द एलपीजी कनेक्शन इज अगेन वेरी वेरी डिलेड एंड पुअर. And CAG observes that 72.7 lakh connection, that is 19%, were installed within 7 days. Now diversion of the cylinder, जो cylinder allocate हो रहे हैं for the poor families, that are diverted to the affluent and rich caste families of the villages, and that is used for the commercial purposes and recommended to the high consumption cases. Now last is the lack of performance indicators. So CAG report shows that the performance indicators are not performing that much well in terms of the LPG availability, their proper consumption and utilization by the BPL household family. Why? Because there is leakage in the LPG connection, there are affluent family, there is industrial connection, and the beneficiaries that are having the LPG connection are not able to reutilize the connection very well. Now that again makes a part of worry to the Comptroller, Auditor General and Government of India. Next news which makes the headline is the food fortification. So why it is important, friends? Food fortification is a process that again goes for the enriching food with macro and micronutrients such as rice, which is fortified by iron, and there are pulses which are again fortified, and there are again various kind of eating items that needs fortification in order to enrich their protein and nutrients quality. Proteins and mineral quality को improve करने के लिए हम food fortification करते हैं. So Prime Minister announced that fortification of rice distributed under various government and PDS schemes such as midday meal scheme should be done. जो भी public distribution system में rice distribute की जा रही है BPL household को, तो उनको compulsorily fortified होना चाहिए. That is a issue for the nutritional development. So there is PM Poshan Abhiyan न्यूट्रिशन को इंश्योर करना, दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ ए वेलफेयर स्कीम अंडर डायरेक्टरी प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी। तो उसके लिए पीएम पोषण अभियान लाया गया। So there is a fortification. So what can it do? It can do more harm. So fortification of a rice, which is leads to the deficiency ignored population and leads to balanced and diversified rice. So balanced diet होना चाहिए मित्रों, और भोजन के साथ साथ nutrient value in which minerals and proteins are added. Further, it caters the issue of anemia ridden people. So बहुत लोगों में आयरन की कमी के द्वारा अनीमिया हो जाती है, एज वी सी दैट इन केसेस ऑफ प्रेग्नेंट एंड लैक्टेटिंग मदर्स विच आर फेसिंग द अनीमिया इशू विच लैक्स द iron quality and having low sufficiency in the health and hygiene condition, they are also facing the reduction in the iron content in their body. So excess iron to the pregnant lady again creates a challenge for those health. So it is again difficult to withdraw and have achieved a target reduction of micronutrient deficiency, and it leads to the deficiency diseases. That is again a problem of worry. इससे क्या हो जाती है? डेफिशिएंसी डिजीज हो जाती है. सो it can also produced in the junk food which is unhealthy in quality for the children and women. महिलाओं और बच्चों के लिए जंक फूड वेरी वेरी बैड क्वालिटी के लिए वेरी वेरी हार्मफुल हो जाते हैं. नाउ देयर इज अ नीड फॉर न्यूट्रिशनल एजुकेशन. शिक्षा में हमें पुनः प्रयास करके न्यूट्रिशनल एजुकेशन को ऐड करने की आवश्यकता है. न्यूट्रिशनल एजुकेशन ऑफ फोर्टिफाइड फूड्स एंड यूज ऑफ मिनरल्स एंड प्रोटीन्स इज ऑल्सो नीडेड. सो व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट ऑफ फूड फोर्टिफिकेशन? इट एड्रेस द हिडन हंगर इनसाइड द बॉडी. हम बहुत सारी चीज़ें खाते पीते हैं और हम देखते हैं कि हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीज़ों की अवेलेबिलिटी है. वी फील दैट आवर बॉडी इज डूइंग वेल, बट वी समहाउ रिलेट दैट आवर बॉडी इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग ऑफ दैट मच लेवल. आवर आइज आर गेटिंग वीक, आवर डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम इज गेटिंग disturbed, and our sleep having is disturbed, leading to rise of various diseases that are all the part of declination of food quality and hidden hunger. So National Family Health Survey data shows that 58.4% of children are anemic in nature. जो बच्चे हमारे देश में हैं 6 से 59 वर्ष की आयु के, उन्हें पहले से ही अनीमिया हो जा रहा है. And 53% of women, 53% महिलाएं are again in the reproductive age are anemic in the nature, and 35% of children under 5 years of age are underweight, and high benefit cost to the ratio of Copenhagen conservation census. So Copenhagen census में हमने देखा कि high benefit to cost ratio was produced for the malnutrition people and goes for 1 rupee spent on the person. Remember this data, very very important for your prelims as well as mains point of view, friends. So we see that there is a diagram showing how fortified Sampurna Poshan Swasth Jeevan goes to better eyesight, आँखों के स्वास्थ्य के लिए. तो fortification of rice gives for better eye condition. बच्चों में आँखों पे चश्मे लग जा रहे हैं, कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस लग जा रहे हैं, that is again removed by the fortification with vitamin A condition. Second is rise of immunity by vitamin A and D. Vitamin A और D के बढ़ने से immunity बढ़ जाती है, and again goes for disease resilient body and protection from such kind of COVID disease and viral diseases. वायरल डिसीज से बचाव होता है जब इम्यूनिटी अच्छी रहती है. देन देयर इज डबल फोर्टिफिकेशन विथ आयरन एंड आयोडीन, ग्रोज फॉर डेवलपमेंट एंड ग्रोथ. देन देयर इज हेल्दी स्किन, आपकी त्वचा अच्छी रहती है व्हेन देयर आर आयरन, फॉलिक एसिड, विटामिन B12 इज देयर. देन देयर इज स्ट्रॉन्गर बोन्स, योर बोन्स बिकम स्ट्रॉन्गर with help of iron, folic acid, vitamin B and C that are part of food fortification. Now there is again a next news which is about Q SIM card, that is a quantum SIM. What is this, friend? Again, a part of science and technology. So, what is the Q SIM? Q SIM is a device that is having a same SIM card with a quantum technology. So, quantum technology SIM card again goes for the SIM card with high quantum data processing speed, where high level of data storage and having the nano simulator with instant circular and simulation output. So, there is a simulation quantum logic circuit inside the Q chip, which is based on quantum computing, and there is work on quantum real life control. It also integrates with the high performance computing scheme. Then there is quantum simulation terms with the powerful HPC resources with help of qubit configuration. Quantum programs and algorithm programs used with the Deutsch-Jostra and Grovers and QFT. So, it is preloaded with algorithm processing system. So, such chips can use to make the data processing very fast in the banking applications, in IT networks, as well as the logistics supply chain system. Further, programmable logic control can also use this data kind of processing. Now, this is the end for today's lecture. I believe that you are understanding the fact and figures very well, and you are doing quite well. And in the next class, we will discuss about certain questions, and we will begin with the current affair of the month of September. So, I believe that you are understanding the data very clearly. Just read, revise and memorize all the fact. Be ready for your prelims 2022 and also for your mains and interview program. These facts and this current affair also help you to re-summarize and get updated with the facts and news which are coming in day-to-day life. So, keep it intact, and ending this news version. Thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.